Hey there, folks, and welcome to Economic Observations. My name is Chris. Today is the 26th of July, and thank you so much for watching. Where do we begin? We've been talking about supply and demand for a long time now. And it's not only about baby formula and semiconductors, it is much more serious than that. Let's start with Europe. European energy ministers all met in Brussels today to talk about conserving natural gas. Right now, their reserves are at 67%, and they want to beef it up a little bit before the average winter comes. They are asking on a voluntary basis right now all countries within the EU to limit their use of natural gas so they have stores and reserves for when they need it most in the wintertime. And this has the potential to be very serious for them. It can increase the prices in an already inflationary period to cost way beyond what the average European can afford to pay for. Look out for this space. Russia is claiming that they are doing maintenance on the pipeline. They are only providing a fifth of what normally comes through the pipeline. If this continues to be the case, the demand will outrun the supply, and it can be problematic to say the least. Another supply and demand. There is demand for Ukrainian and Russian grain all around the world, especially in the southern hemisphere. They are reliant on this grain, and without the grain getting to the right place at the right time, can have more detrimental effects on lives in Africa, Indonesia, and other countries. So look out for this supply and demand. And what I really wanted to talk about was the supply and demand for water, especially in the southwest of the United States. Lake Powell and the Glen Canyon Dam are producing 30% of the hydroelectricity that powers 5.8 million people. This is running at 30%. If Lake Powell falls another 40 feet, just 40 feet, and many engineers and scientists expect that it will by 2023 or 2024, what kind of electricity and what is the cost of that electricity going to be for 5.8 million people? This is a big problem. It is unbelievable how the depth of these reservoirs has gone so low, never seen before, and it can have catastrophic consequences for millions of people in the Southwest. Further south of Lake Powell lies Lake Mead. Lake Mead is a reservoir that provides water for 40 million people in 7 different states. There is the upper reservoir, the upper tier states, which is Wyoming, Colorado, and Utah. And then there are the southern states, which are California, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. Even Mexico gets some of their water. 79% of the water goes for agriculture. The farmers say they have a right to that water that is well above the need for residential or commercial use. They are paying farmers $925 an acre, and they've been doing this for the past few years, so it's nothing new now. Hundreds of thousands of acres not to farm. The government is paying them $925 an acre and saying, please don't farm it or cultivate it this year because there's not enough water for it. They are cultivating most of their farms, but a portion of them they're not. Many grow alfalfa, which feeds the cattle across the United States. they grow other things that feeds America as well. They say they have a right to the water above and beyond the population. So why do people keep moving to these desert places? Southern Nevada was not meant for habitation. The government is also paying people to remove their lawns. You have grass? Here's a cactus. Please put cacti and succulents in your garden. They will preserve the water. You do not need grass because it is just wasting this precious commodity. So what happens if doomsday articles come true? 7 states have till August 15th to come up with a plan. The Recreation Department is saying, okay, you figure it out. What is your limits? Las Vegas and Nevada are already trying to limit water usage. In Arizona, they're trying to limit water usage. Water usage has to come down. Today, the 3rd body was found in Lake Mead. That's how low the water levels. These bodies have been in that lake for decades, and it's getting so dry right now that they are unearthing things that they never imagined. So what happens when this becomes a serious problem where cities are uninhabitable? What are they going to do? We're leaving it up to the politicians in 7 states. But you know what happens when we leave it to politicians? Nothing gets done. Only whatever's in their best interest will get done, not in the interest of the people. So there are supply and demand problems like we've never seen. We also have a problem in Salt Lake City because the Great Salt Lake, well, that too is at 1/3 of what it used to be. And if the Great Salt Lake dries up, all that sediment, arsenic, sulfur, different kind of chemicals, in the wintertime when they get the winds blowing and arsenic starts blowing all around the city, it can have catastrophic consequences to the residents of Salt Lake. The water in Salt Lake acts like a cover. It keeps all that sediment down, but it is evaporating at rapid speed. They want to pump ocean water into Salt Lake, but Salt Lake is actually 10 times saltier than ocean water. We have bigger problems in this country right now, and the cost of energy in the Southwest is going to skyrocket if that hydroelectric dam is not working. And the water, the commodity of water, is also going to go sky high, and people are going to pay exorbitant amounts of money to have water. So it is supply and demand. The demand is there, and well, the supply of water just isn't there in that part of the country. Some of those states even reached out to states along the Mississippi River, wanting to put an underground pipeline to bring in water from the Mississippi River over to the Colorado River. People in Michigan said, no way, you can't take our water. States all along the Mississippi said, no, you can't touch our water. If you're that irresponsible with your own water, what are you going to do with our water? There is going to be some conflict, some serious negotiations going on. There is going to be water limits put in place, just like there's natural gas limits that are going to be imposed in Europe. It's like everything is converging at once. We have economic problems, we have natural resource problems, we have wars going on, we have food problems. Everything is there, but it's not in the right place. I don't have the answers, but I hope somebody does, because things are only going to escalate. I'd love to know what you think about it. If you haven't heard about Lake Mead, well, there's thousands of YouTube videos, people out there on the lake week by week, and you can see how low it's getting every single week. Boat launches are closed, roads are closed. It's just turning back into the desert that it was meant to be. Anyway, on that happy note, it's a serious problem, folks. Go research. I'll put some links in the description as well. And this video is brought to you by the Tanzania School Foundation. Have a wonderful night. Call someone, tell them you love them. Be kind. We'll talk again real soon. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button and liking this video, I would really appreciate it. Have a great night.